Despite several snowstorms, retailers are coming in with relatively strong earnings for the month of January. Is this a sign consumers are still spending even though the holidays are over? Is there momentum? Tom Chin is the head of analytics at the Telsey Advisory Group. He joins us now. Tom, there aren't too many stores that still do release their month-by-month sales. So do we take the headlines today and say all of retail is doing better than expected, or is it just the little we know wasn't quite as bad as some had feared?
Yeah, no, I think definitely the results came in better than expectations. I think people expected maybe roughly 2.7% as same-store sales increase. We actually saw 4.5 or so. So I think really across the board we saw some strength, and it's not just isolated in certain categories.
Well, with a number of the stores that no longer release sales, and then we've just recently seen some of the smaller boutiques, you know, the Abercrombie and Fitches stop reporting. What's behind that? I mean, is there a reason why the stores don't want us to month by month get visibility into just what's happening inside their stores?
Yeah, I think some of the catalysts really are. Some believe that there's more volatility if you release on a month-to-month basis, and again, same-store sales releases have been really the norm for years now. And as we see more and more companies take that away, we think the more retailers will probably follow suit. But primarily, I think it's driven by the fact that most people believe, or most companies believe, that it creates more volatility in their stock.
Right.
And if you think about some of the calendar shifts, whether it's Easter or some of the weather that we've been having, it makes for year-over-year comparison somewhat difficult sometimes. So I think that's another reason.
Yeah, it's just that right now we're all so hungry for a read onto the U.S. consumer as to what they can spend given where jobless rates are. Give me a sense of what they are able to spend at this cash register. January is supposed to be a clearance month. Did we see markdowns as per usual?
I think we did see markdowns, and pretty much in line with what we expected. We didn't see really kind of excess in terms of clearance inventory, but what I will say is that when we're out there in the stores, anecdotally, it's still really promotional activity that drives traffic. We're not seeing a lot of full price selling. It's really kind of the consumer mindset is still kind of driven by discounting and promotional activity.
Yeah, we just saw the headline from the International Council of Shopping Centers and Goldman Sachs that for January they say overall sales are up about 5%. year over year. Is that a fair comparison?
Yeah, no, I think that's probably around right. And again, I think on the positive side of the scale, again, for January, despite the weather pressures, which some companies called out 100 to 200 basis points in terms of dampening same-store sales, we definitely did see more positive results. But again, clearly unemployment and as well as some of the other factors in terms of cost pressures are what's going to weigh on some of the companies going forward.
Yeah, talk to me about those cost pressures, because day to day we're tracking cotton jumping. We're looking at production costs going up for manufacturers. How much of that is getting passed along, not only to the consumer, but to the retailers?
I think right now it's probably more a second half, pass along. Again, it's very tough clearly out there in terms of the consumer environment. Again, as I mentioned before, consumers are looking for deals, and so they're not willing to pay full price yet. And so with the onset of cost pressures, we do believe that the retailers will have to pass along those costs. But again, I think people are going to be very measured in terms of their approach. Again, I think one of the more compelling arguments you can make is that companies that really have a diversified distribution base or the logistics channel, supply chain channel, really are the ones that potentially could benefit because they could actually diversify some of those costs.
The bigger multinationals, it sounds like there. So inflationary pressures, you say second half, be warned, consumer prices may go up.
Well, I think definitely kind of in the long term, as we've seen a more deflationary cycle over the last 15 years, we're going to definitely see an inflationary cycle in the next 5 years even.
All right. Thank you very much, Tom. Appreciate it.
Thank you.